topics. 1. Tissues. 2. Blood. 3. Immune system and vaccines. The big idea is cells work together to form tissues, tissues make organs, blood transports materials and protects the body, and the immune system defends us against pathogens while creating immunity through memory cells. Let's start with tissues. Remember the levels of organization: molecules, cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, organism. A tissue is a group of similar cells working together to perform a specific function. Tissues combine to form organs. For example, your heart contains muscle tissue, connective tissue, nervous tissue, and epithelial tissue. Mini summary. Tissues are groups of similar cells that work together. Tissues make organs. Q&A. What is a tissue? Answer: a group of similar cells working together to perform a specific function. What is the correct order from smallest to largest? Answer: molecules, cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, organism. Why are tissues important? Answer: they form organs and allow specialized functions. There are 4 major tissue types. You absolutely need to know these. 1. Connective tissue. Connective tissue supports, protects, and connects structures throughout the body. It contains cells, fibers, ground substance. Examples: blood, bone, cartilage, tendons, fat, tissue around organs. Think of connective tissue as the body's support system. Mini summary. Connective tissue supports and connects body structures. Q&A. What is the main function of connective tissue? Answer: support and connection. What are examples of connective tissue? Answer: blood, bone, cartilage, tendons, and fat. What 3 components make up connective tissue? Answer: cells, fibers, and ground substance. 2. Epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue covers surfaces and lines organs, found in skin, digestive tract, mucous membranes, functions, protection, secretion, absorption. Think of epithelial tissue as the body's covering and lining. Mini summary. Epithelial tissue covers surfaces and protects the body. Q&A. Where is epithelial tissue found? Answer: skin, digestive tract, and mucous membranes. What are the functions of epithelial tissue? Answer: protection, secretion, and absorption. 3. Muscle tissue. Function, movement. 3 types: skeletal muscle, attached to bones, voluntary, striated, multiple nuclei, smooth muscle, found in organs and blood vessels. Involuntary, cardiac muscle, found only in the heart, involuntary, striated, branched cells. Mini summary. Muscle tissue creates movement. Q&A. What is the function of muscle tissue? Answer: movement. Which muscle type is voluntary? Answer: skeletal muscle. Which muscle type is found in the heart? Answer: cardiac muscle. Which muscle type is found in organs and blood vessels? Answer: smooth muscle. 4. Nervous tissue. Function: transmit messages, contains neurons, send signals, glial cells, support and protect neurons, found in brain, spinal cord, peripheral nerves. Mini summary. Nervous tissue sends communication signals throughout the body. Q&A. What is the function of nervous tissue? Answer: transmit messages. What are neurons? Answer: cells that send signals. What are glial cells? Answer: cells that support and protect neurons. Now let's move to blood. The lecture points out that the average human has about 5.5 liters of blood. Your heart pumps your entire blood supply approximately once every minute. Blood is actually a connective tissue. Functions of blood. 1. Transportation, oxygen, nutrients, hormones, carbon dioxide, wastes. 2. Defense, fights pathogens. 3. Clotting, prevents blood loss. 4. Regulation, temperature, water balance, pH balance. Mini summary. Blood transports materials, fights infection, clots wounds, and regulates body conditions. Q&A. What are the 4 major functions of blood? Answer: transportation, defense, clotting, and regulation. Why is blood considered connective tissue? Answer: it contains cells suspended in a fluid matrix called plasma. Blood has 4 major components. 1. Plasma. Plasma makes up about 55% of blood. Plasma contains 91% water, proteins, nutrients, hormones, waste products, gases. Mini summary. Plasma is the liquid portion of blood. Q&A. What percentage of blood is plasma? Answer, about 55%. What is plasma mostly made of? Answer, water. 2. Red blood cells, also called erythrocytes. Function, transport oxygen. Red blood cells contain hemoglobin. Hemoglobin binds oxygen. 1 hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 oxygen molecules. Hemoglobin can also bind carbon monoxide, which is dangerous. Mini summary. Red blood cells transport oxygen using hemoglobin. Q&A. What is the function of red blood cells? Answer, transport oxygen. What protein carries oxygen? Answer, hemoglobin. Why is carbon monoxide dangerous? Answer, it binds hemoglobin and prevents oxygen transport. I. White blood cells, also called leukocytes. Function, fight infection. White blood cells are blood cells are part of the immune system. The professor specifically says you do not need to memorize all the white blood cell names. You only need to know macrophages, engulf pathogens, lymphocytes, produce antibodies, kill infected cells, create immune memory. Mini summary. White blood cells defend the body against pathogens. Q&A. What is the function of white blood cells? Answer, fight infection. What do macrophages do? Answer, engulf pathogens. What do lymphocytes do? Answer, produce antibodies and create immune memory. 4. Platelets. Function, blood clotting. Platelets help stop bleeding after injury. They form blood clots that seal damaged blood vessels. Mini summary. Platelets prevent blood loss through clotting. Q&A. What is the function of platelets? Answer, blood clotting. Why are platelets important? Answer, they prevent excessive blood loss. Now let's move into the immune system. Immunity means removing pathogens, foreign substances, and cancer cells from the body. There are 2 major immune systems. 1. Innate immunity. 2. Adaptive immunity. The professor organizes these into 3 lines of defense. First line of defense, present at birth, nonspecific, prevents pathogens from entering. Physical defenses, skin, mucous membranes, cilia. Chemical defenses, stomach acid, tears, saliva, sweat, lysozyme. Helpful bacteria on skin and intestines. Mini summary. The first line prevents pathogens from entering the body. Q&A. What is the first line of defense? Answer, physical and chemical barriers. What are examples? Answer, skin, mucus, cilia, tears, saliva, and stomach acid. What enzyme is found in tears and saliva? Answer, lysozyme. Second line of defense. Inflammation response. Triggered when pathogens enter the body. Symptoms, redness, heat, swelling, pain. Histamine causes blood vessels to dilate. More blood arrives, more white blood cells arrive. Macrophages engulf pathogens. Mini summary. The second line is inflammation that attacks invaders. Q&A. What is the second line of defense? Answer, the inflammatory response. What are the 4 symptoms of inflammation? Answer, redness, heat, swelling, and pain. What do macrophages do? Answer, engulf pathogens. What is histamine? Answer, a chemical that increases blood flow and inflammation. Important terms. Antigen. An antigen is anything recognized as foreign. Examples, bacteria, viruses, parasites, cancer cell proteins, macrophage, a white blood cell that engulfs antigens. Q&A. What is an antigen? Answer, anything recognized as foreign by the immune system. What is a macrophage? Answer, a white blood cell that engulfs pathogens. Third line of defense. Adaptive immunity, specific immunity, occurs after exposure, creates memory, uses lymphocytes. This is the only immune response that creates long-term memory. Mini summary. Adaptive immunity specifically targets pathogens and creates memory. Q&A. What is the third line of defense? Answer, adaptive immunity. Is adaptive immunity specific or non-specific? Answer, specific. Which line creates memory? Answer, the third line of defense. Important adaptive immunity terms. Antibody, a protein produced by lymphocytes. Antibodies bind specific antigens, memory cells. Remember previous infections. If exposed again, response is faster. Response is stronger. You often do not get sick again. Q&A. What is an antibody? Answer. A protein that binds a specific antigen. Who produces antibodies? Answer. Lymphocytes. What are memory cells? Answer. Cells that remember previous pathogens. Why is the second exposure faster? Answer. Memory cells are already prepared. Vaccines. Vaccines create active immunity. Vaccines contain antigens, not antibodies. The antigen teaches the immune system what to recognize. Your body then creates antibodies, memory cells. This creates immunity. Mini summary. Vaccines expose the immune system to antigens so memory cells can develop. Q&A. Do vaccines contain antigens or antibodies? Answer. Antigens. How do vaccines work? Answer. They stimulate antibody and memory cell production. Which immune system is activated by vaccines? Answer. Adaptive immunity. Which line of defense is involved? Answer. Third line of defense. Active versus passive immunity. Active immunity. Your body makes antibodies. Long-lasting. Vaccines. Infection recovery. Passive immunity. You receive antibodies. Temporary. Mother to baby. Breast milk. Antibody injections. Important. Vaccination is not passive immunity. Mini summary. Active immunity makes antibodies yourself. Passive immunity receives antibodies from another source. Q&A. What is active immunity? Answer. Immunity where your body produces antibodies. What is passive immunity? Answer. Immunity gained from receiving antibodies. Is vaccination active or passive immunity? Answer. Active immunity. Why is passive immunity temporary? Answer. Memory cells are not produced. COVID mRNA vaccine. The vaccine contains mRNA instructions for the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. Your cells make the spike protein. The immune system sees it as foreign. Antibodies and memory cells form. Later, if the real virus enters, the immune system recognizes the spike protein. The response is rapid. Disease severity is reduced. Q&A. What does the COVID mRNA vaccine contain? Answer. mRNA for the spike protein. Does the vaccine contain the entire virus? Answer. No. What protein does the vaccine teach your body to recognize? Answer. The spike protein. Why are boosters needed? Answer. Antibodies decrease over time. Final lecture summary. Tissues are groups of similar cells working together and include connective, epithelial, muscle, and nervous tissue. Blood is a connective tissue made of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. The immune system protects the body through 3 lines of defense. The first line uses physical and chemical barriers, the second line uses inflammation and macrophages, and the third line uses adaptive immunity, antibodies, and memory cells. Vaccines work by exposing the immune system to antigens, so memory cells can develop and provide future protection.